Welcome to EVE Online, I'm Major Freak. Alright, blog entry. So, I've been crunching fobs at Pirate Strongholds for the last little bit. I usually do 8 to 10 per day on average. That's about, if I do 8 a day, that's about 2 billion each day. And that's pretty good. It works out to be, with transit time, about 240 million per hour ish. Um, that doesn't include the hours time I do scouting beforehand. Uh, I've got 8 scouts, and I can do it in just under an hour, including time to return to a staging point. And I go 12 jumps out in every direction, except I won't go through Losec. But yeah, that's a huge thing for me right now, and I've gotten most of my guys implants to the point where I don't need to invest in implants, and implants are a huge sink, as you guys probably well know, especially for when you have multiple clients. So now I don't need to buy any more implants and plug in. So it's all gravy. Um, so that's 20 billion. It's probably going to cost 10 billion to plex all 6 accounts using skill farming to subsidize which is currently 40 to 60% subsidizing. It's not a profit anymore. It's subsidizing my account to plex. I don't. You don't get enough because each month you'll get um, four injectors, large injectors, out of each character, and so each client is doing 4 injectors worth, and 4 injectors worth a year ago used to be enough to buy enough plex, to 500 plex to be able to plex your account, and that was great. But it's slowly over the months gotten worse and worse, to the point where I'm going, wow, it's pretty good because it lowers the grind in game for me. So I'm like, yeah, I'll pause my training in game, meaning I can't fly any new ships or new gear that's really way out there and I want to try. Um, and that's a sacrifice. So I'm like, at what point is it worth just grinding straight? And last month, I estimated would cost 14 billion to plex my account straight up for 6 of them. So that's pretty huge. That would suck almost my entire profits for. I was broke. I won't say broke. When was I broke? I was broke not too long ago, actually. Not rich by any means, so. Of course, it was back when on my billing cycle, right? 15, 16. Eight. What, around the 4th, I think? Two. There. All right. So, 3rd. Or the 4th. There. Right at the 4th. Downtime on the 4th. uh, yeah, so. 1, 2, 3. So it's taken me 3 weeks to get to 20 billion. So that to me is impressive. And one assumes that by next week, by the billing cycle, I'll probably have, 27 billion. I'm not doing it right now because this is prime time and it's on a Sunday, so it's like bleh. Like yesterday at around this time there was like I went scouted, 12 jumps out in every direction. It takes me about an hour, to and fro. uh, yeah, two pirate strongholds. Like no. So yeah, it's awesome. I've never had this much ISK before. It's great. Um, it's pretty cool. Um, yeah, the equivalent of that right now, like Plex, is crazy. Plex prices are just bananas. Currently in Domain, you can buy, you can sell Plex for 5 million a pop with tax, assuming that'll drain that. So you can buy from the website 500 Plex. Use, I think it's exchange rate. I'm pretty sure they changed. This is pre nerfing everything, increasing the prices of everything. Uh, Back a year ago when I was buying Plex, it was about 3 million a pop, and it was worth, a casual player. I'm not really investing a lot of time playing the game anymore, and I want to get something. I'll buy 500 Plex. It costs like $26 Canadian. Whoop-de-doo. It's like working hard, party hard. Why would you want to grind when you need this thing right away and you're not going to be wanting to play a long time? I usually on average drop $26 on two of those packs of 500 a month on average. And yeah, it was worth it at 3 million. But you're thinking, wow, why aren't people buying more? And you look at this, and the volumes of sale is really low. But you'd think because it was higher value, people would say, hey, I can get more bang for my buck, and do it that way. And there'd be more Plex to play and more for the ISK traders to play with. Why is it slumped? Why is it just completely slumped? That's pretty weird to me. There's a few recent spikes, but I think it's just like, wow. Pretty insane. And it's it's double, like historically, since the beginning of Plex. Like back when they had the actual P.L.E. X. Pilot license extension certificates that you would, I forget how you would interact with them, but they were an actual, they had the icon of a license. It was pretty funny. But even back then, the equivalent was 2.5 million per Plex. Equivalent. That was the happy place for Plex. It was just where the price tended to go to. And the economist, who lasted quite a while in CCP, thought it was the gold standard. And I think CCP loved that idea because it meant the whales would have to purchase more Plex on the website in order to buy stuff in game. To me, that's always seemed way weird concept. To me, it's like if I was going to buy Plex, it would be more attractive when it's more expensive. But CCP doesn't think that way. It might, because maybe they're I don't know. I have no idea. Anyways, so I am confused by the lack of purchasing, and I think it's because there's just less people in the game, and it's reaching a threshold. Since 2008, my personal threshold of when CCP is going to die, they're going to shut down the servers, is when they get below 20k, when they no longer go above. Like, it'll take a while. Like their peak would have to be below 20K per day on a consistent basis, and it would just start to go down from there. Once that happens, and it's going to take a while, I figure, like, what, traditionally it slumps in certain periods and rises again. It's a up and down thing. CCP is well aware of the ebb and flow of the player base for school and stuff like that, because most of the target is college and university kids. So yeah, but it will trend down, and when it eventually goes below 20K, I give it, how long did Jumpgate last? Like, not long. Like, it never got to the threshold. Like, we had, for us to be sustainable, like, there was at max 2K online, and it was a small company, and it just catered. It's just like Eve, but it never reached that critical point, and so it died. And it was a very niche game too. It was basically a joystick. Well, you could play with a mouse, and that's what I did, but it was a joystick space sim. I still play it today. Like, somebody re-enabled the server a while ago, and it's a hoot to play. I haven't been playing it recently because I've been grinding so much in Eve. But yeah, it's even now, 20-year-old graphics. It's it's amazing how CCP brags about their eye candy, but I'm just having so much fun in Eve, and lol, Jumpgate, but they didn't take very long, maybe a year, maybe 3 years, because it just wasn't viable. They never got to that threshold that CCP enjoys. And CCP thinks it's their right to have this many players. I think it's a privilege. They're lucky to have gotten that threshold, and they should stop preening and sitting on their laurels. But that's what they've always done. Their focus has always been the next patch, and they only look to the next. Like, when they started out, they were like, "Oh, this game's going to last like 2 years," and that was their justification for just going from patch to patch. Oh, we'll just focus on the next patch. It's awesome. Forget about the patch that came before, and they were just and you could see how blinkered they were, and how myopic they were, and how uninterested in documentation, how uninterested in properly documenting things. So in the future, they could go back and no. So it's a shit show, and it's just luck. And I give it, after they reach that 20K, it'll be 3 years, maybe 5 tops, before they shut down the servers, because it's not financially viable anymore. And it's proof positive right here. People are just, the whales are just not slamming that purchase button on their website, CCPs, and it's just like painfully obvious what has happened. And it's weird. It's totally weird. It's like you'd think the volume of sales would be up, just because there would be more for the Plexsters to play with, and there's a sink, of course, people plexing, right? And it's more difficult for people to Plex, so therefore the demand for Plex is less. And it's a cruel cycle, of course. The more expensive it is, the less people are willing to, the less demand there is. Yeah, it's a spiral, basically. It's pretty sad. Anyways, so yeah, that's where my brain is going. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Skill extractors, they've, relative to Plex and extractors, their profit margin has shrunk, and the market has unfortunately matured to the point where starting a year ago there was no profit, and it was break even, and then it slowly became less profitable to the point where it's seriously not. So as you can see, the volume of sales has tanked, and the price, of course, has increased because people aren't going into it. Why should they? And the price is always tracked with extractors and injectors as well, with why would they do it. And so, the supply, sorry, what am I saying here? It's the demand is low for this. Demand is, well, people have always used injectors, right? But it's the volume of trading is really low, and it's really weird. Yeah, it's just getting more expensive. And when that happens, yeah, people don't buy as much. So, yeah. But yeah, the whole market analysis thing, it's just, it's complicated because it's just not only demand and supply, but it tracks each other, right? This is not operating in a vacuum. The extractors and the injectors aren't operating in a vacuum. It's all pretty much tracking closely. I used to think it was a holy trinity of it would track perfectly, so I wouldn't need to do any math. It will always be blah blah blah. No, it tracks close enough to Plex prices, and yeah, it's and of course that tracks. You have to take this into account too. It's not only supply and demand; it's population base, and that's where CP gets it wrong all the time. It's so funny. They like take for example their promise to the player base with their plan for those 3 phases that they drop like a hot tamale. Yeah, it's yeah, they're quadrants, and we're going to have this grand plan to drive conflict. And you look back on their talking points, and it was like, wait, you just went apples oranges equals conflict, and conflict was never driven by the apples or the oranges. What are you talking about? They thought they could control conflict, and they never have. Conflict and destruction and production have tracked player base. Like when player base was up, conflict was up. And that was it. It would just, when you look at the numbers and you look at the graphs and you're like, that conflict graph is tracking population base over the decades. Duh. And you look at their talking points and you're like, you have no idea what you're doing. So, yeah. Yeah, it's just an example of they are completely clueless. And it's sad. But yeah, it's getting more expensive. I'm having to grind more, but at the same time, I don't have any expenses in the implant department. So now, hand over fist, I'm making ISK. Because the ISK, when you grind Pirate Strongholds, goes directly into your wallet. You don't have to, transport the ore, process the ore into minerals, take that minerals to market and sell. If you can't sell it where you reprocessed it, etc., etc., etc. You don't have to do that transit time. It goes directly in the wallet, and all my implants are like up to snuff. I wish actually they lull there's CCP. That's hilarious. Give me a sec here. See ya. All right. So, yeah, up to snuff. I kind of wish we had another skill that was enable us to add more uh, clones. I mean, this is a silly amount, but yeah, 5 more would do it because there's so many different implant sets. It's like, hey, I like min maxing. Could I get a few more? That'd be great. And now we can stack them into the same station. Um, I prefer not to. I try to subdivide where my ships and my implants are in the same station. So if I know I want to go active tanking for shield, I can go to Ardeshir bottom station, done. And I can go there and I can just look at the ships there and they're all shield tanking active. And I'm like, great, I want to play with that ship today. It's fun. And the more options you have to do that, for me, the funner the game is. The more fun the game is. You know? Funnest. Yeah. But yeah, I'm up to date. I've got, these are cheap. I don't break the bank on this kind of thing. If it's too expensive, I'll be low grading. There's no high grade Centurions. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with all the implants here. They are where I'd like them to be. There's no missing, like I've got almost all my 5% skill hardwires, sorry. Yeah, so I'm really happy I don't have to invest in that. And that was my biggest sink. Just trying to get all my mains up to snuff with implants, and that's a pretty penny. And now I'm making on average 7 billion a week, and by the end of the billing cycle, I'll have 27, and it's going to cost me about probably 10 billion to invest the seed money, the capital, in order to use my skill farmers to get the 3,000 plex I need to extend my pilot license extension for another month, an extra month. In a couple of cases, I've got the and speaking of, I've got the 2 of my accounts are doing some much needed upgrading after a year of not having any queue except the one for skill farming. I've not been able to trade. So currently I'm upgrading for 3 months some of my skills, and that'd be great. And when I need it, I'll do it, right? So that's my thinking. It cost me about $72 to do this. So for 3 months, I'll be able to do that. And yeah, that's what $72 buys me. 3 months of skill training. Now, this is interesting. Skill training, sorry. I tested on Singularity, and it's weird on Singularity because on Singularity, you only have the option of dumping to Idas Bay, which is great because you can, but yeah, whatever. But it's weird. But I can activate it and extend my training queue, which is great. So extend that, confirm, and do it once more. Got to basically double click. 90 days, so 3 months. Boom, done, right? And on here, it goes directly to, so I don't have to do that extra step. And I'll extend it because I was worried. I was like, wait, will I purchase it? It'll be committed into the 3rd? No. So I'm able to extend it, no worries. There you go. And I'll just make sure. I'll extend it. Good. There we go. All right, done. So I don't have to worry about it anymore. So that's done. Voila. Um, yeah, it's great. Um, Now then, what other character did I have? I think it was this character. So let's get that going as well. Extend, confirm. Okay. It's weird that there's a difference, but there are weird artifacts on Singularity that will never appear on Tranquility. It's kind of funny. It's something you deal with. I never complained to CCP about it. It's like, they're allowing us to use the test server for things other than what they want us to test. So I'm not going to complain. It might screw me up a couple of times because some things on Singularity are screwed up, but when you go to Tranquility, it's fine. So there's been a few mistakes I've made. Anyways, especially with Photon UI. All right. So yeah, approximately 3 months. So yeah. So I can project into the future going, okay, as soon as that 3 months, do I need anything beyond this? Is there any skill I need? Is there any skill queue I need? I mean, to add it, do I need the MR tactical destroyer? I don't really think so. I could probably tack it on there. But yeah, that's almost 3 months from now, so I don't really need to worry about it. I'll want to take advantage of it, of course, like of all these logistical frigate. Yeah, I've got that, so I'm training that. Galanti note. Capital ships. Yeah, but that's like 2 months. And I don't fly. I've never taken my Rorqual. I've had my Rorqual since 2012. I've never taken it beyond docking ring. It's like, no. It's like, yeah, no. I just don't have the ability to protect it. Like, if it gets attacked, how am I going to rescue it? I can't. I don't have the ability to do so. So I'm like, nope. Yeah. If I can't bring the fight if it gets attacked, I'm not going to risk it, right? It's just not worth it to me. And since mining is no longer fun, why should I even bother, right? Yeah, why should I even bother thinking about it? Yeah, it would most likely fleet coordination. What a joke. A Mar destroyer. Yeah, let's do that one. There we go. That's 92. Cool. Close enough. Awesome. So I'll get to Tactical Destroyer 3. That's not bad. Right on. Cool. Yeah, and after that, I'm like, yeah, I can let it pause again and go back to not paying for the game anymore. Because been doing that for 2 decades. I'm going to take a break from paying you guys. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to get those capital skills up to level 5. It really, really, really would. Um, but yeah, no, not at the moment. Maybe when I'm completely financially stable, and my wife is too. Yay, COVID. Then I'll get back to actually paying for my account, so I actually free up those skill queues and not have to worry about skill farming, because at some point skill farming is going to become, I think it's matured. I think at this point, I think probably when it hovers around 50% subsidizing your grinding in game to Plex, I think it's gonna hover around there. I don't think it can get worse than that. Pretty sure. That's my guess. Like my guess about the holy trinity of Plex extractors and injectors being in lockstep. That was that was a naive viewpoint, and yeah, like I say, I'm speculating, right? I mean, and I don't judge myself harshly. At the time, what I was noticing, yeah, you judge yourself on what you knew at the time, not what you know now. So I don't judge myself harshly, only if I screw it up. You know, if I'm making a mistake, I'll be like, I'm an idiot for making a mistake. But so far in this video, I think I've committed no errors on what I know. Like I might misunderstand the market completely, but yeah, I think you'll forgive me for making the errors. And if you spot them, well, that's on you for being better than me. It's not on me. All right. So yeah, this is scary, and I track it to Numbers Online, right? Just look, see, like July, where is it? July, we're tracking below, so May, March. So this is when it's happy period, right? March, so right about here, right? March happy period, and then we go to May, right? And then it dips below, right? So it's not supply and demand. It's basically scale, right? Issues of scale. It's like, it's just, there's less of a pool, you know? So yeah. Ugh. Yeah, back in the heyday. Woohoo, we're going to the moon. Yeah, 2008 is when I really started to play the game in earnest. Uh, I think that was when I got my second account and was using my backup computer to run a trial account at the time. I think it was a 2-week trial account, and you just keep creating 2-week trial accounts for scouting purposes, right? And so it looked good. There was some troubling things along the way, like their HTFU video. That was pretty tone deaf, but that's CCP. Let's be honest with ourselves. That is CCP, and it's not going to change ever. Their attitude has always been that way. And when they did not address the issue of, you know, when Bob dissolved and some a-hole created a corporation called Band of Brothers, so they couldn't, you know, they just killed them completely, and, you know, sowed the land with salt. It was just, CCP's attitude was, oh, we really need to look at the corporate infrastructure and the wallet divisions and securing that alliance payment, and the fact that you couldn't pay months in advance. Why do we have a system where you can only pay each month? Why can't you just pay multiple months in advance? Why the frick can't you? You know, it's just it's just completely tone deaf. It's we're gonna leave our game in a state of affairs since beta that we haven't improved, but improved other aspects of the game, and you just look at the things that have not improved. But yeah, sorry, getting way off field here. So yeah, grinding away. That's pretty much all I'm doing. Taking advantage of the change in jump cloning to really put my stuff into and out of my I think I've got one. Yeah, I've got one. My ECM for Wardex. That's always going to be in the Hospitaller because now I've just got one skill clone for each of my characters in an Upwell, and that's easy to extract if I actually need to. And of course, when I'm at war, I'll be using this implant set, and it's a piece of cake, and it's awesome. It's the freedom it gives is just astounding. I can go to an NPC station now and go, oh hey, I need that that jump clones implants today for a couple hours, and then switch back, and it's awesome. It cost me $1 million per, like 6 million for all my characters total, but average, approximate. It's not quibble, and yeah, it's great. It's an awesome change. Thank God. And if Aurora was the one to push for that and make it happen, then kudos to her, because she did talk about it at FanFest. Maybe, but it was an awesome thing to hear. That was the most exciting thing to hear during FanFest. I'd moved. See, the thinking in the past was pretty random, actually, because I had a month. It's pretty funny because I think was it the mirror? Did the mirror change? Give me a sec. It's on Singularity. It just got mirrored a week ago, ish. Jump clones. No, I'm not able to see the way it was. Damn. Anyways, oh, running low. Yeah, I'm testing out. This is a War HQ, yeah, War decked. Somebody, there you go. So it's a War HQ. I'm shooting it, and I'm testing, confirming that if it goes RF'd, it'll go 4 to 5 days instead of 24 hours, even though it's War HQ, which is weird, because if somebody else attacked the structure and they were war decked by my alliance, no matter where it was, if it's a War HQ and they're attacking it and they're a defender, it'll go to 24 hours. But I'm an aggressor. I'm just confirming that if I shoot my own structure and RF it, it'll go to 4 to 5 days. This is an exploit used by Stuart, the man from Wherefore, who's now in Riot, jumping on a sinking ship. Yeah, they used to be huge 3 years ago. Now they're a shell of that. But he's used his old tried and true tactic, apparently, according to a little birdie, that if he RFs it, and as soon as it's RF'd, he almost before it. Can you do it when it's RF'd? Bet you could. I'll definitely be able to test it, but when it's RF for 5 days and there's a war deck being pending with that HQ being, the HQ for it, that means that Eve Uni, what they usually like to do is come in right away, RF it, 24 hours later, kill it, and just get it over with quick. Don't use any blink stuff. Just come in and just blap it. And that's been their policy ever since, I'm sure for years, the man from Wherefore, Stuart, from SNL reference, has done it for them. And he's found ways of getting around that to trick them to get that 24-hour war decks just before a structure is destroyed, so he gets 24 hours free war deck on somebody. Well, it'll cost them 100 million, but that's free, right? So all these tricks of the trade is just it's just pathetic. And I think if you shoot anything that's a ward HQ, aggressor or otherwise, like friendly fire, it should be a 24-hour timer. So we can't get away with that. But CCP's lazy, and it's probably like aggressor, 4 to 5 days. Defender, 24 hours. And I think it's so brain dead, the code, that I don't think they'll be able to put any nuance in it. But you never know, right? But pff, yeah, it's not like I'm going to change CCP's mind, because I'm sure Eve University, this huge organization, is putting in bug reports and being polite to them. Me, I'm just like a bunch of morons. They won't care. You know, Stuart kisses their arse every fucking CCP week. Whenever they have an event, he's always there to sacrifice stuff to them to make it look cool. And they're like, oh, this is great. And you're like, you have no idea. It's just, you're so naive. Yeah, well, yeah, we know everything about this game. Yeah, well. So yeah, I'll probably log on a few more characters and speed this up. Now, yeah, unfortunately I won't be able to show you what it was like before, but I can describe it. Oops, wrong. All right, so what we have is I would have the stuff in Aurora has not moved. The stuff in Mamenkanar has not moved. I've got a couple of Astra houses there. Lost my Astra houses in Bashakru and Siriday, so I didn't need to worry about them. But in Bashakru, I had all my mining ships here. But then I realized, wait, I don't really have a need for the Ministry of Internal Order anymore, because when I first started playing the game, I looked around for corporations that I want to identify with so I can immerse myself in the game more, and it was Game World, and it was definitely Theocracy, you know, Theology Council, and they were pretty much the Warhammer 40k that I was looking for. So I'm like, great, I'm gonna Warhammer 40k cosplay this, like shoehorn that into that. But after a while, I realized that Theology didn't have any factories. I'm like, yeah, but I want to make my own stuff and blah blah blah. Never got there. I hate industry. I hate market orders. I hate wormholes. I hate nullsec. No, the nomadic lifestyle of the latter two, and I'm just not an industry guy. I love mining, but I'm not in it into the, you know, what I do after I reprocess this ore, and I was just never interested. So I never actually got around to using any of the many BPOs I've bought over the years and upgraded. So I don't have a burning need to be attached to Ministry of Internal Order anymore, which was the next step down. And Ministry of Internal Order, kind of Warhammer 40k-ish, maybe. You know, it was, but it had combat agents, it had industry. So it was great. But now I'm like, I've never used industry, I don't care. So should I go back to Theology? No, because this Ad de Shapur is in the middle of the system, and I can strategically descan the entire system from here. So I'm like, and it's got a medical bay. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to use that to get one of my my mining implant set in there. And since it's got a medical bay, I can hop out without incurring jump down, clone cooldown. Perfect. That's going to be my new mining area. So since yesterday, last night, I finished moving and transferring and shuffling between characters and etc. and stations on my mining ships. My ice mining ships are still in Shuria, so I haven't completely moved everything, but I'm happy. And so that's my main jump clone, my mining jump clone that I haven't used in ages. Since November. Yeah, that massively stupid nerf patch. Jesus. Anyways, and in Shuria, Hospitaller, see, Hospitaller is right below, the Astra is right below the Ministry of Internal Assembly plant where I keep all my ECM stuff. So I've got all my Centurion implants over at Hospitaller. I don't have any other Upwell. Well, I've got one Master Sword. I'll probably move that into NPC stations. I hardly use it, so I'll probably move that. Probably do that now. Actually, let's boogie over there. How am I going to do it? In Katana. I don't need to be in Katana. I'm just doing that to update my. Oh yeah, let's talk about that before I leave. Let's dock up. So take control. Can I take control? Yeah, we can take control. Cool. It's another thing to add to the videos of what can you do while your session timer is cycling down. All right, so this is not my bling bait Astra House. This is just a plain Astra House, and it doesn't have a core because these are legacy Astra Houses before the abandonment. Freaking, you have to have a core bullshit nerfs they did. Yeah. We'll sell you this core, but we'll also buy it back at full price. And so where else in the game is that? Crazed. Alright, so I put new fighters. I put stand-up Grams. Now, Grams, I had them elsewhere, so I didn't have a lot of fighters in my base, but I'm like, screw it. They're great against drones. They just nom drones like crazy. Since I have so many target locks, I can get 11 target locks. I can lock up 11 drones, and I'll just chain them. And I'll just keep, because the Grams kill them, like 3 wings of Grams kill a drone so quickly. You're just basically killing one drone with 1 wing, killing a second with another, and you're just basically, you're constantly targeting and attacking, because if you notice that as soon as a fighter wing kills something, it stops dead in its tracks, and that's bad. That's like catnip for PvP griefers, right? So that's done. I've loaded all my Astra Houses with 3 wings of Grams. And then Furbolgs are great. They're the highest DPS for fighters. And Sirens, of course, to bushwhack anybody trying to flee the Astra House. That's their main use. To get the jump on anybody trying to flee. Like somebody who got bumped as soon as they were warping away. I've gotten a Nestor that way. That was fun. Yeah, so this is my strategy. You get those Tech 2 signal amplifiers. Those are just key. Absolutely. Being able to last about 10 minutes is great. That's enough time to break the fleet, if you're going to break it at all. If you can't, well, I did my best with what I had. And that's all you can do, right? And it's not all you can do. If you get attacked, it's practice. You get practice at button mashing, fighter control, the whole shebang, right? where and changing scripts versus because ECM on stand-ups, you can actually have a script and you can change the faction on the fly. It's pretty cool, but it's mind-bogglingly complex, and it's a full-time job. You're juggling a lot, especially when you try to switch targets to fool them. And they're warping people off and back, and you're constantly and you're only wanting to launch fighters when you need to, because otherwise, if they love to nom on this stuff. Yeah, they love to nom on this stuff. Griefers do, because if they kill all these fighters, like this is 9 fighters, if they kill the last one, they'll get a kill mail. But if they only kill one, but they're expensive. If you never realize it, these are like really they're 12 million each. So that's just for them popping one of those. That's 12 million you've just lost, and they mask quite a. This is probably like what 18 in total. 9 of them is 18,000, and 36 grams is a DST load. Yeah, and 3 wings of this is another DST load. So it's a lot of stuff to haul around. It's probably the biggest hauling restriction when equipping an upwall. It's quite an investment in time and resources. Yeah, so that's my current strategy for fitting and managing upwells. I don't do, like, remember I used to do planetary interaction? Oh, sorry. What are they calling it these days? Lol. I used to do that every 2 weeks. I'd make sure I had this stuff up to date. Does it look any different? But it takes me, let's say I whip through this in 5 minutes. I can. I've pushed myself to do that. So let's say I whip through that in 5 minutes. I've got 18 characters I can do that on over 6 clients. That's an hour and a half. An hour and a half? God, I can do a scout for new fobs in my area, 12 jumps around, using 8 characters. I can do that in under an hour, to and from the staging area. So that's that's scouting, and then doing half an hour worth of fob bashing, which is probably you probably have enough time to get 1 fob in. So that's 240 million automatic guaranteed versus going into and admittedly it's a piece of cake. When you go into planetary interaction, you can fuel 8 Astra houses, no problem, hands down, easy, piece of cake. And this is 2-week stretches of PI, and 3 months. Every 3 months, I'll go out and collect the PI stuff, and then building the fuel blocks using 10 BPOs in about a day, and done. And I've got enough fuel for like a month, or at least, I don't care. It's just so easy to do. Yeah, it's just ridiculous amounts of fuel blocks, which after the initial investment in the colonies is basically free. So I was doing it for free, but at the same time, that's an hour and a half of time I'm devoting to just grinding. And I'm like, why don't I just grind fobs instead and just frickin' buy fuel blocks? And these fuel blocks are so damn cheap. I mean, well, it was cheap to do it for POSs, player-owned stations, but those were low sec, and the refueling and the dealing with it was just such a nightmare. It was just so nowadays it's a piece of cake to refuel it. There's no headache. And it's honestly it's a joke compared to a POS. So it's like doo doo doo. Blocks. I can buy. What I usually do is every once in a while, I'll buy Masaba. Well, sure, yeah, oh, cool. All right, I'll buy 12,000, which is a DST load. They're massing 5 each, and that's 200 million. So in an hour and a half of grinding every 2 weeks, and I just don't like an hour and a half out of my day. It's like, man, and every time I get around the 2 weeks, I got to do my P. I'm like, and that an hour and a half, I could have spent scouting my entire area, getting like 2 to 10, sometimes 16 fobs on the list of waypoints, and guaranteeing myself at least one fob in that amount of time. That's 240 million ISK for me. So why would I spend the equivalent to grind this stuff? It's fun to be self-sufficient, but at the same time, I'm like, self-sufficiency was fun, and building my own fuel was fun, but at some point, I'm like, yeah, I'm over it. I'll just buy it off the market, have somebody else do that fun stuff of building it, and move on, because I've already scouted all those fobs. I'm gonna get way more than yeah, it's just so worth it. Just do that. Anyways, so the strategy so far is, and I haven't released any videos about it. Like, you've got options of public, unlisted, and private videos, and I've got a whole bunch of unlisted videos I released to my alliance, or Exidium. They were expats of Shoot First, a low-sec alliance that was controlling the local area, and now the Russians do. Or Russian-affiliated pets. But anyways, yeah. The videos probably will be released once I actually get into combat with the entity the griefing entity locally that's constantly war decking Exidium, and by extension me. It will. I call it the stagecoach, and they've seen it. It's a Griffin, Maulus, Crucifier, and a Draugr. And the Draugur's cool because it has not only information warfare, but skirmish warfare. So I can get speed tank, and like Griffin's suicide, so speed tank is all it's got. And the ability to increase the ECM or the targeting range. And so once I land, I've not only got speed boosted for all my guys, but I've got targeting range for all my guys. So I can land at an extended range, get into orbit at the optimal range, and then do a lot of sniping, jamming, even multi-boxing, with a tight group, all regroup together using the regroup command. And yeah, it's pretty cool. You can regroup. Instead of saying anchor up on me, you can just click on that fleet hamburger and go regroup, and all your squad mates or wing mates or fleet mates just try to orbit as close as possible on you. And if you're going at 3,000 kilometers, they're not going to be whipping around you. They're going to be tight on your ass. And if you coordinate everybody's drugs and implants and skills and fits for their level of competency, you can have pretty much everybody within 16 kilometers of the anchor immediately without having to say, hey, everybody anchor up, blah, blah, blah. All they have to do is land, hit F3, and I just regroup. And we're off to the races. Within 6 seconds, we're off to the races and climbing past 3,000. We can get up to 3,600. And I can multi-box that. And now with enough experience with button mashing, because I keep getting attacked foolishly, and they allow me to practice, the better I am at it, at juggling not only the gunnery, but also the multi-boxing. And I can field 1 or 2 griffins, and when you it's not dependent on logi. So my out of alliance coalition members can catch the initial speed and targeting range burst, but after they go PvP flag engaging targets, they cannot anymore. So I switch my command burst to jamming ECM superiority script for the information warfare, and for the skirmish I go interdiction, I believe that's the correct term, for the extra scram range. And because I've got an upgrade option for my ships to the Curies from the Mollis, and the Sentinel from the Crucifier, and the Kitsune from the Griffin, and the Draugr stays, of course, the Draugr. The Curies has not only does it have the boost from the command burst, it's also got a faction scram, and that faction scram can now reach out to 30 kilometers, if I recall correctly, maybe 20 kilometers. But anyways, it's quite a ways. And in order for an interceptor to turn off the MWD of anybody, it's got to get within 10 or 12, I forget. You get a bonus for interceptors, right? But anyways, whatever they send out to catch us, we're going 3,000 meters per second once we get up to speed and lose our command burst for speed, right? So we're orbiting at 90, jamming away. They send out a frigate or something, and of course this is on grid with my gunner, so it's starting to lock up that that tackle that's coming at us. I can kill that tackle with the drones. Now the cool thing about the drones is that when you're going that fast and you've got light drones and you order them to return an orbit, they'll never finish returning an orbit. That means they'll never turn off their micro warp drive. That means they'll always be catching up to you. And since they're faster than you, they're like an angry little bee cloud swarm, just waiting to be sent to engage a target. You don't have to launch them. They're just, yeah. Yeah. Most of the damage that incurs when I've tested has been the Draugr's a light trig disintegrator thingy. Yeah, 50% of the damage is that. And I get long range ammo. There are a lot of damage done to the drones, and the drones have, once you send your drones and they start attacking a target, it doesn't matter how far you can be, up to 500 kilometers away, and the drones will still be attacking that same target. So, yeah, once that angry little bee cloud of drones at warriors go for, it's just toast, because in order to go that fast, they've got to sacrifice so much tank in order to get that close. And so, you're hosed. And of course, the Sentinel / Crucifier is there to tamp down any sniper Hecates, because Hecates have insane targeting range. You can't sensor damp them. The sensor damping Mollis and Curies are there to shut down, say, a target painter Hyena, or a sniping ship that's sitting close and sitting nearby with amongst the attackers. Now is the problem of, say, a marauder, sniper marauder, um, sniping us from 250 kilometers away, but the, the fact that the fact that nobody's been stupid enough to actually try going after. Admittedly, I haven't fielded it. I fielded it. I haven't fielded the stagecoach doctrine enough, that they probably said, well, let's use a sniper marauder at 250 kilometers. That's a very valuable target sitting out there alone without support. And I don't need to tell you how attractive that is to anybody. It's like if I tell somebody, yeah, that's a bat phone away. Yeah. So yeah, it would probably drive me off the field. And yeah, they might be able to destroy an Astor house, but I can guarantee you, I could bat phone easy. At that point, people be like drooling over that, And I just, what did I lose? Maybe the Draugr, but I'm interested in having in-house, like in Alliance, Logi, Kieran's. Could Kieran's protect my little stagecoach doctrine from stuff like that? That'd be interesting to test on Singularity. Could, you counter to counter, right? Could I stay alive? Could I eliminate that? It would be nice if they tried, because it would be bling bait, and it would be a good selling point to try to bat phone, because if there's bling out there for them to nom on, yeah, people get really attracted to that. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, currently it's usually high-sec war deckers use Trigs, the Leshaks or Drekavacs, Kikomoras, because they're great against a stand-up. Drex and Kikomoras eat fighters alive. Nobody usually attacks them. They're usually just, nobody's gunning. People don't, just ostrich, and they have no experience at it. And the guys with experience are the griefers, and of course they do. So yeah, it's mostly that. Sometimes different, like sometimes you'll have weird fits that they'll use, but mostly it's Trigs, and that's the doctrine. So don't try to imagine some weird scenario where you're trying to counter. It's just, you just assume that they're going to go with Trigs. That's why I have radar fitted. They'll probably come with the ECCM boosted nesters, which are magnetometric, so you lay waste to them with that. Yeah, it's basically a case of you tap down their nesters or Onirises. They usually like to mix it up, just to confuse. And you tap that down, and then you use your Griffins, Kitsunes, to jam out their Trigs. And it's a simple case of pressuring multi-boxers. If you can pressure multi-boxers, which high-sec war decking structure bashers invariably are, most of them. Black Flag's got, of the player base that Riot used to have 3 years ago, they're pretty huge. So they can afford to come in with lots of players. And sure, they'll multi-box 3 clients maybe, each, but they've got a lot of player base, so it's impossible to, like, if Black Flag war decks me, I'd be like, yeah, I'm signing out. I'd use it for practice. I wouldn't unfit my stuff. Because the ability to practice in live combat, live fire exercise against a competent enemy is your best bet to learn how to button mash, because button mashing experience is so important, because it's a skill you'll never forget. You'll realize tricks of the trade, and you'll realize, oh, I screwed up there. I got to remember not to screw up, like using the wrong script on somebody, and you just forgot, And you're like, oh, can't forget that. And got to paint a target. And oh, my missiles will take a while to hit the target. So I'll start painting as soon as I see damage occurring on the target. Then I hit it with a painter so they don't get pre-warning of what target I'm going to shoot at, how effective are neutralizers, etc., etc., etc. What to do when they warp off and back. Oh, I need a better rig to target them quicker. All this kind of stuff, you know. It's helpful. It improves your game. So yeah, no matter the odds, it still's good practice. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. It's a great doctrine. The doctrine relies around specifically pressuring multi-boxers. If you pressure multi-boxers, they'll make mistakes, right? And they're not used to making mistakes. So as soon as that happens, they're way out of their depth right there. They're way out of their pay grade. So as soon as that happens, they'll flee. Yeah, and they'll start making mistakes. And that's when you pop your siren and grab one of them. And that's really satisfying. Usually it's a bumped Nestor. God, I love that. Where's that video? Sorry, where is it? It was the most fun ever. Anyway, so it was just luck. You've seen ships blow up before. Yeah, we caught a Nestor as the fleet was about to warp away, and it bumped, and it was just pure luck. It was really good skill on the part of the other player that was helping me, but we bumped it, and I saw the opportunity, took the shot. All the danger was on the Nestor, not me. So it was like, nom, nom, nom. Thank you very much. But yeah, that was cool. That's what you do. You do not launch fighters until absolutely necessary. And if they have drones out, go nom on them. Totally. They'll get wise to that quick. But yeah, it's just one more pressure on you. So if you can do it, do it. If you can't, don't. What I'll usually do is jam one Nestor each, paint my target after I'm starting to hit it. These are crews. Use heavy for direct evacs. If you're going for, say, Logi, use light. Your best bet for hitting Logi is when they're not moving. So definitely go heavy and hit it with heavy, and a painter when they first land and they're multi-boxers, hit those suckers right away. Like if you can hit it with a heavy missile, and yeah, you just tear into that and launch your fighters. Yeah, no, yeah, they'll break. Yeah, your best bet is to pressure multi-boxers. Take advantage of the fact that they're spooling up, getting their guys moving one by one, and catching them when they're not moving. Because if something's moving less than 200 meters per second, you can do maximum damage with your missiles. And so that's, yeah, the maximum damage with your missiles is a lot of damage. Over 1,000 DPS. Light, it's what, 500? 400. And cruise is even more, but that's for Leshaks and stuff. But yeah. And of course you add in the painter, which gives approximately 25% plus 30% extra damage. Yeah, look at that. And then you add in your, yeah, 1,000 DPS with blaster cannons alone. Yeah, the rocket salvos are quite scary too when you get those cycling as well. But yeah, the whole other kettle of fish right there. But yeah, add in the fact that not only can you see the fighters, how quick are they? They're really quick. I can get them to click on, say, the Draugr, my anchor, and I can launch them, get it to orbit my Draugr, and hit NWD, and they'll whip out there and orbit the Draugr. How fast are they? Some velocity, 14. Yeah, no, they're actually not going to keep up. Okay, that was a yeah, that would be something for, say, if I fielded blackbirds and they're around that speed. I didn't. I dropped the blackbird idea, the blackbird doctrine, which was based around the Draugr as well as an anchor. But I dropped it. I've dropped it for at least a year because speed. It's if you're slow, that means you've got an exponentially less ability to tank with speed, right? You no longer have tank as your speed. And the blackbirds are very vulnerable to being just sniped out of the sky. Why would you go with something? Because you don't get that much bonus. Um, like, is it in. How do I do this quickly? Give me a sec. I'll go into ship tree. I hardly ever go into ship tree. Go into. Nope, color. Silly me. So Griffin, 15% bonus to strength, 15%, right? And the cruiser is. There it is. Blackbird, 15%. So it's the same bonus to jammer strength. It's just optimal range. That's you're getting a bonus for. So a blackbird can jam out to. I've got implants for Centurion and all that stuff, and the Draugr for boosting. I can get jamming strength for my in alliance guys out to 200 kilometers. The problem is, past 150 kilometers, you can have that DPS team warping in on you, and you won't be going that fast, like 1500, maybe 2000 if you've got drugs and the booster for speed on your Draugr. But still, that's not fast enough to escape certain death if they warp close to you. So combat probes on field, obviously, and it's the ability to snipe way out isn't as great. So yeah, no. I'd like to do it on. It would be fun to do it, and fun to field them, but still, it's like, why would I go with a blackbird when it doesn't give me more bonus to jammer strength? When I can just use cheaper griffins and go way faster, and go inside 150 kilometers, so the DPS team that I'm attacking can't warp to me. Yeah, there's so many benefits of using a smaller ship for this. Blackbirds, to me, are just not worth it at the moment for the role I'm thinking of. The Stagecoach. Yeah, Stagecoach is all about Griffin Core. Totally right. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of fun because the Stagecoach is the Griffin. The shotgun is the Maulus, the Curies. The Dicky seat is the Crucifier Sentinel, and then the horses, the Clydesdale is the Draugr. It's similar to Eve University's Crowbar doctrine. Way more specialized, fit to get it even alpha characters up to 3,000 meters per second, so everybody's close together. So it's highly specialized. But for the role it's doing, and the enemies it's facing, and the counters I've had to, like, if they come in with Cerberuses, all my Crucifiers just switch out for missile disruptors. That's all they have to do. And, because the Griffins have to switch out for what they're going to jam. The Crucifiers just have to switch out. And the Sentinels, sorry. They just have to switch out for missiles. So it's easy. Cerberuses, missile disruption. Piece of cake. And one missile disruptor with bonus DCM bursts and all that other stuff can just tamp even heavy missiles on on a Cerberus down to less than what my optimal range for jamming them is. So yeah, and I'm so fast and they're so slow. Yeah, it's just, and if they're feeling Cerberuses, that means not only have I jammed their range, but any Griffins with me outside of alliance, going also really quick, can start jamming them, and they Cerberuses can't attack the upwell. And the thing with Cerberuses, their DPS is half that of a Drekavac, which means it takes them twice as long, which means Care Bear, Griffins and Care Bears are the same thing. Both want minimal risk for maximum reward, and that's what the lowest common denominator of Eve are. And funny enough, they both operate in ISEC. Yeah, I'm sure the same can be said of nullsec blocks too. The null bears and the, it's, yeah. Let's drop Titans on a venture, because lol, right? So yeah, that's where we're at, for defending an upwell at an optimal, field cheap stuff, deny them bling kills or easy kills, and just be a hard target, and they'll pick somebody else. They really will. They've currently, the Riot's picked on enough people, and it's come to a head. And Riot really is a shell of what they once were. Like, if Riot had war decked me and attacked me 3 years ago, I would have been just like on toast, because they had really big corps in Alliance that could field, lots of players, and I'm hosed. So no, they're a shell. They're just a bunch of multi-boxers now, and rats are jumping on the sinking ship, like Wherefore, Stewart from Wherefore, SNL reference. Yeah, and this other, I think it's another player, maybe not, from Safety. She's the face of Safety. Yeah, she's got one of her alts in Riot now. A little birdie told me. Another little birdie. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, it's Sunday. Like, their last HQ for Aggressive Wars they had was, they've still got structures. Probably a Poco hidden somewhere, a Poco gantry. I think it won't allow me this way. I'll probably be able to do it this. Let's check. Yeah? No. Yeah, of course. Lol. Unsteady? Yeah, unsteady. There we go. And their war history, as of a few days ago still, has no aggressive wars. I'm assuming the same. I think they... Nope, here we go. There we go. So active wars, they must have just done it as soon as, coincidentally, as I logged off for the night. I haven't checked in the last, so yeah, they've got, must have just started actually. Started 23. So when did it start actually? Let's open it up. It's pretty funny. 18. That's hilarious. So I must have just checked it right before they started war decking people. That's hilarious. So, oh cool. Same place. That's hilarious. So it's a location off in Solitude. And it's probably all there. It's nice way of place. I thought people would never go out and bother with it unless they were directly war decked by that HQ. But oh, right, whatever. Pending wars. Oh, what do you know? That would be funny if Black Flag canceled the war, and immediately after the war was canceled, Riot got back into the war decking game. Oh man, wouldn't that be funny? Sorry, I'm very cynical. Where is? You probably scroll by it. Black Flag, Black Flag. 24th. Sorry, the the hilarity if this was actually the case. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it was just the ships passing in the night, right? Okay, so God. So 24th on the 23rd. So that would have been declared on the 25th at 18. So it looks like 18 that it started on. Yeah, within minutes they war decked a whole bunch. Wow. So 6 hours before the cooldown ended on Black Flag's war, they were like, okay, guys, time to start war decking again. Oh, it's so funny. It's just that the fact that they now have a coalition that is going against them, and Black Flag is jumping on the bandwagon too, of just crushing all their HQs as soon as they pop up. It just drove them under for a few days, and I was like, are they going to do it? Like, to me, it was like they'll probably wait to the end of the weekend because they'll want to get something in them for the weekend, right? Because it's like Sunday, they're weekend warriors. They'll want to start ganking things again. So, yeah. But I wonder if they would have still delayed through the weekend if Black Flag hadn't ended the war, right? You gotta think. That would have been. Anyways, the done is done. They're back into it, of course, as they knew they would have been. But it's still out way the hell. Black Flag's probably got ships still in that location. Give me a sec, I'm gonna check. Wow. Sorry, it's just small victories, You knew they were gonna get back in the fight, but it was just like they haven't done any aggressive wars for 3 days now. That's total coincidence. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Small victories. It means nothing long term because like it's not like they're gonna quit Eve. And most of them are car popping morons anyways, with their employment histories all strung out like crack addicts. Alright. Well then. Yeah, I've got one of my alts constantly moving new ships into new locations, so I have a jump clone in every system they're using as a war HQ, so I can always whore. Alright. So I'll just jump clone out of that one. From chlorchiller to geriatric. Oh no, almost a million ISK to do that. What will I do? I'm sure it's not RF. Black Flag is still needing to get in the war. But yeah, clone jumped. And it's, what is it? It's an Astor House, I'm assuming. Yeah, Astor House. And I don't have a ship scanner, but whatever. I don't care. It's not like I'm fielding any combat ships. Did they? I'm going to go warp to an old ping on there. I'm sure it was in the same exact spot. Guarantee you, right? No, it looks like a different spot, I think. Yeah, they moved to a different spot at the furthest, like, I think just out of D-scan range of the station, but whatever, right? Off we go to check it out. I'll leave the pings in place. It's completely useless. Yeah, it only made 3 of them anyways, so I don't need them, so I'll get rid of the pings, just so I don't get confused. It happens. Do do do. Alrighty. Is there a fob in system? Yeah, that's a Garistas fob. Alright, done. Yeah, there's... it's here. Obviously, it's not reinforced. I'm surprised Black Flag bothered. But, yeah. Eve University was word-ect, so... yeah, jump on that bandwagon. Alright. So they're back in business. Oh, no surprise. But who are they word-ecking? Like, nullsec people, so they can whore on easy dumb people and hub things, right? Okay, that's annoying. Give me a sec. There we go. Crap. My bad. Shift. There we go. All right. Pretty sure these are all nullsec people. Pretty sure. Yeah. Duh. Alright. Who are these people? Like, one assumes they'll want to bash upwells nearby, so I'm assuming that this is a local something they can beat up, right? No, it does not look like it. Looks like an nullsec block. All right. Yawn. Um, um. I am not up to speed on the map of nullsec. I never have been. I once was, but yeah. No idea where most of these places are. But it definitely looks nullsec. Anyways. Alright. Yeah, they're just going after the big stupid people who don't care because they just tell their members not to be stupid in hubs, around hub stations. But of course, everybody is, and that's how they get the kills. Alright. Yeah, just, you don't have to combat everything. You don't have to counter everything. You have to be perfect. All you have to be is be faster than the slowest guy. Higher than the lowest hanging fruit. And the lowest hanging fruit, nullsec blocks. Trade hubs. Yeah. They're just so naive. It's pretty funny. Hi, sec. It's safe. No. Gee, music. Well, I'm definitely not enabling the music. Oh wait, shit. It's probably repaired. No, that's hilarious. I'll log in three of my guys and do it. I actually want to see how long it takes three of my, admittedly they're all non-gank variety, but I'm just curious. Like, I can take down a fob in 50 minutes. How long would it take me to RF on the shields? Because it's usually hull for a fob. How long would it take my three guys to RF on the shields? I'm just curious. Like, because, the spool up of the DPS, it's not really a straight calculation, right? And plus you got the drones, so curious. Definitely want to try that out. So yeah, I'll definitely record that and time it and upload it, and it'd be interesting how long you've got till it. And I'll probably try it later with a different, and of course confirming 4 to 5 days RFing, which is just whatever. At least I've confirmed it. Let's see. So I've shuffled guys around. I used to have. So I get back on that topic. Let's control. Dog. Now, what was I gonna do with this character? Oh, right, the probe. I need to get my probe implant set off to the NPC station, just for safety. La la la. Yeah, so I've got my passive shield tanking ships and implants over at Arera. I've got my mining ships over at Bashakru, which has changed from Ministry to the Ardeshipur in the middle of the system. I've got in Shuria, I moved my shield tanking from the Imperial shipment. I forget. Yeah, there's been a lot of shuffling going on of different ship tanking types to different NPC stations, but I've eventually settled on active shield for Ardeshipur, active armor for the Imperial shipment, They used to be SWAT, but there's a, I believe there's a medical bay here, and the reason I put my shield tanking is because I think I mentioned in the last blog, my alphas, they all use the Merlin. The best skilling spree ship is a frigate with active shield tank that's cap stable and lasers. You know, standard non-destructible lasers. Perfect. No ammo chains whatsoever. You can engage once you've targeted the person and just go off to the next client, whatever, right? Well, if I was on Omega, it's like, wait, next client? Yeah, it's all my secondary and tertiary characters on these clients, Omega, have the Merlin too, not only my alphas. Because, you know, it's simple, it's cheap, it's whatever. My mains all have jackdaws with auto-targeting. Yeah, it makes skilling sprees, because you don't even have to target anything. You just land in an asteroid belt and start hitting the buttons. It's pretty funny. And then just let it go, because, you know, once those missiles start activating for auto-targeting, it's game over for the rats. In an asteroid belt in high-sec, yeah, totally. With a jackdaw on combat mode, yeah. La 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 la. There is no... Yeah. There's no medical bay here, so it's just going to be a jump cooldown. So I'll hop out, jump into the probe ship, and jump clone. Go to the station, NPC, and just jump clone back. Yeah, sorry, don't you mute the mic. Again, I still got a crappy microphone with a really glitchy mute button. It says mute, and the button is solid red, but when I want to mute it and I click it, it flashes. It should be, it's really dumb. It should be record, and then you press it and it flashes for, you know, because solid red is recording. How many people have not seen WCKRP in Cincinnati? Maybe I'm just too old. or even Fraser. Yeah, sorry, digression. But yeah, the button is just so twitchy. I just can't. So sorry about not muting when I drink water and stuff like that. Yeah, too many past videos were completely muted just because the button just didn't work for me, and I was too busy recording to notice. So boo-hoo, Crimea River. And most of you guys don't care. I don't go out of my way to drink dramatically like like that, right? Yeah. No thanks. I might be a drama queen, but that's not a sadistic drama queen. All right. Oh, one of these. Cool. Like finding $20 in your wallet. I mean, in your pocket. In your wallet. That's what it's supposed to be, you idiot. Alright. Let's put that in items bay. Yeah, passive tank. Rattlesnake, passive tank, Drake. Yay, Drake. Actually, you know what? I don't think I have an Urbana here. I just got Grail. Is this fit? Check it out. Do I have the same fit? Probably not. As the leading. This is the. Everybody's seen this person, right? Like, you check out the Proving Grounds. Always invariably the top killer. Drake. Heavy assault. Heavy assault. Yeah. Damage control. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, definitely not like my fit at all. But yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you adapt something that works, right? Especially works really well. So yeah, this is definitely not that fit. It's heavy missiles, right? Yeah, heavy missiles for range. And yeah, total 100% tank gank. Basically because this is for, you know, it's actually, wow, it's coming up too. So I'll be able to throw this in the mix. But I've discovered that I can just use rattlesnakes. You can do one per site, and that's what I was trying to do, but it takes so long. You're always going to get the kill stealing idiots coming in on your site and not going, oh, okay, somebody's running this, I'll move elsewhere. No, they want to come in and just be, oh, I don't know, man, it's just a game. What are you getting? Why are you mad, bro? It's like, really? Yeah, so I'll usually field 2 rattlesnakes per site. I found that was just quick enough to kill it before the idiots got in there and stole the kill. So 2 of these per site will do it. Yeah, it's not bad. They're fun. Rapid heavy. Oh yeah. Lots of fun. Anyways, sorry. Where was I? Getting back at hand. Yeah, I like 2 events. The one where you the scavenge hunt for the multicolored pods using D-scan. That's fun. And then Samhain. And I think they're the same. I think isn't it called the Wild Hunt? The Wild Hunt, or is that in April? I forgot. Anyways, Crimson Harvest and Wild Hunt. Those are my two favorite. Well, the only events I run because they're fun. They're almost. Yeah. Anyways, sorry. I was going to jump to. Did I? Crap, did I screw up? No, I did it right. So, Talismans, there we go. Jump. And over here. Jump cooldown, of course, but well worth it. And I'll grab those. Drop them off at the place I need them. Oh, damn it. Close that down. Yep, it's funny. They fixed the closing of the inventory when you jump cloned. But the original programmers who programmed that to close couldn't get around the double opening for upwells, or yeah, that's what happened. That's why they let the inventory close, and it was easy. All you had to do was, like, I used to have page up for character sheet and page down for inventory, and you'd open up your character sheet, you'd clone jump out of there, then you'd close your character sheet and open up the inventory with that button. It would be the same inventory button, and yeah, it would. And now you've got, like, you've got 2 inventories that stay open. Like, thanks, CCP. You're awesome. Only, of course, when you jump between NPC and upwell and vice versa, right? La la la. How many sisters? I've got one left for combat. Okay, cool. Tons of these left. Jesus. Back from when you couldn't, when you launched them and you forgot about them and you changed session, you lost them. And back when you could steal them. Yeah, if you were close enough, you could steal one of them. Or I think, no, maybe you couldn't steal it, but you could smart bomb it. You'd definitely be able to kill it. Well, in low sec, of course. Well, I'm not sure. Could you do it in high sec without... Anyways, that was an age past. Like, many years ago. Yeah, 2000... Jesus, 2008-ish. Yeah. Anyways, sorry. That's way digressing. Yeah, so passive and probes, and I keep my fireworks in this station using another character. And I don't think I'll ever anchor another Upwell. If I did, it would be a Fortizar, but the core, it's like, here, pay 100 million ISK, and you can get a core that's worth tens of billions. It's like, it's just sitting there asking to be grabbed. It's like, you know, I get one extra missile launcher and one extra mid slot and a few more fighter wings. Yeah, not worth it. Nope, just, why? I'm just a one-man corp. Why the hell would I need to risk, you know? But if I was going to, if I didn't have, look at it this way, there is no need for me to have Upwells anymore. I wanted to swap between clones at the same station without incurring jump clone cooldown, because you could at an Upwell. It was awesome. Now you can do it in NPC. Why do I still have Upwells? Well, because they're there and it's kind of fun to have them. But other than that, sitting there looking pretty, some people still use them. It's cheap. I mean, so let's go check out the wallet and I'll show you. It's interesting. 16. I'll shut down this. Whatever. Yeah, this is the correct one. Awesome. All right. Yeah, I think I've got, like, Jesus. At one point, just before the NPC stations became, you could swap without cooldown, it was getting past 60 clones in the most busy Upwells. Crazy. It was like, whoa. And remember, I'd moved out all my clones soon after. And that would have removed, say, maximum 10, so at least 50. Bananas. Transactions. Jump clone activation fee. And sorted by mount. So this is... You're looking at... two. So we are looking at... Bastard Sword is a rara, I think. Sorry. A rara, yeah. That's Bastard Sword. So one activation in the last 30 days. So one a month. So it's been really low. I think people remove their... See, by activation, I assume if you're not using it, at another person's upwell, why leave it there, right? So I'm assuming that most people have moved their stuff out of Aurora, and I'm actually curious about that. Killing spree is over, so let's hop back. Kind of curious now. Me backup form, alternate form. Sure, yeah, there we go. So we've got Hospitaller, Morningstar. Let's go check out Morningstar first. So Morningstar is 5. So, oh, okay, 2. So 2. The busiest was 3, and oh, the busiest was 2. I think that's Warhammer. No, it's 3. 9. Oh. Oh, yeah. I don't allow corporate offices. Cutlass. Poor bastard. Radish. Really? So my most popular upwell is nowhere near here. That's hilarious. Lol. And wait, why? That was on me. Wait a minute. Wow, really? Wait. What? Good on everybody. Oh, wait. I'm an idiot. Oh, my God. I'm embarrassed. Yeah, like I said earlier, I give myself shit for screwing up when I should have known better. All right, so this is... Yeah, bastard. So this is Aurora. So this is a shit ton of people using Aurora. Well, not a shit ton, maybe, half a dozen. And a little bit for one person was using the remote. Okay. And for now, that's hilarious. So one looks like a spy clone, probably, maybe. Assume for now, whatever. Okay, and 6 is one person was using. Wow. Yeah, one person was using Hubbard, which is, I think, the remote one. Hey. Yeah, that remote one. So one person. Too funny. Ah. For them. And 9, which is that one? Katana? Yeah, 9. That was in Mammakar. So not getting a lot of usage anymore. It's really dropped off, thank God. So let's check out how many. Sorry. How many clones I have installed, and you can do that by not following through with it. I've shown you guys before. You just go to offline it, and it goes, do you really want to do this? And there's only 9. And I don't have any jump clones in here anymore. Pretty sure I've checked all my alphas, and tertiary and secondaries. Pretty sure this is just other people. And of course, you don't want to do it, so you're going to know. But yeah, it gives you a counter of how many clones. It doesn't tell you who, which is why in each of the profiles, I made a single profile. Each of my upwells, I can alter it so I can look at my wallet and go, oh, okay, that person has been using it. You know, it's like nine jump clones and one person be using it. Yeah, they haven't probably used it in months, maybe. It could be an empty clone, could be. And I wouldn't, if I knew they were all empty clones, I'd be like, okay, I can shut this down on an anchor if I wanted to. Corey, this is my not bait upwell, right next to a low set gate. Totally not bait. It's where I've got all my faction modules for neutralizer and ECM. It's like, yum, yum, yeah. Come attack me. Oh, please don't throw me in the briar patch. One must get content somehow, right? Let's go into Warhammer, check how many jump clones, and we'll do it for all the local ones. I'm not gonna bother going to the long range one. I don't even think I have a jump clone on one of my alphas to do it, so whatever. Yeah, I moved around my alphas too. One of my alpha clients has a combat pilot who I just do skilling spree with, and the other two are based and got jump clones in Abazon and Vicamia, respectively. I know they're 3 jumps apart, but whatever. Just division of labor, right? And an alpha's an alpha, right? Who cares? Why go 3 jumps when you can just log in another character instantly? So this 9, there wasn't many last time I checked. It was Hospitaller, I think, and Herrera's halberd. Or, yeah. $24, so that's less than good. So people are actually moving stuff out beyond me moving stuff out. That's cool. And plus, you've got to count that I've got all my mains ECM stuff in, so -6. So -6 to that is, yeah, just 18 other players' clones. Interesting. That's cool. So people are actually taking advantage of that. Good. Awesome. Yeah, NPC swapping. Just get your clones at upwells. It's safer that way. I mean, I might have the best ability to be a hard target as a one-man alliance, but I'm still a one-man alliance. So it's not safe. Even though I've got it tricked out as best I can, right? Yeah, when I lost 1, 2, 3 Aster houses back in 2020, I think, or 2021, whatever, in March, spring of a long time ago. And I've had these Aster houses down pre-invasion. God, 2019 maybe? Pretty sure. Maybe even 2018. I don't think so. Oh, maybe. Whatever, right? Take control. And you see new Aster houses, upwells plunking down all the time, but it's not as much as it was pre-abandoned state, right? Pre-ABC in ISEC nerf, that was hilarious. For 42 I've got, wait, this is the, sorry, God, I'm an idiot. So 24 in Warhammer, and this one is where I have my ECM drones. Oh boy, screwing up again. So -6, so 36? No. Yeah, 36. So, oh my God, my brain. So 36 in this one, 24 in the other, 9 in Morningstar. So that's less than 60. So people have been moving out, but not as much. But yeah, you're responsible. I feel responsible for potentially billions of ISK being trapped here if it goes low power or destroyed. If I go derp, I'm just going to uninstall it and reinstall it because derp, you know, I've had implants on multiple accounts lost that way because some jackass ripped it out, put it back in because reasons, even though he saw the warning. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bit of a dick move. I've got that corporation on my blacklist. Guarantee that. So okay, so that's 36, 24, and 9. And the other one was a rare, and it was like 60. No, I think there was... No, these... It's... I don't know. I don't think people have moved stuff out. Because it was like... I knew the most was in Hospitaller, and then next was Warhammer, and then Morningstar. So it's tracking pretty... So like, it doesn't look like people have en masse moved stuff out once the NPC stations were able to swap clones. A lot of people, it's just a game, they don't care. A lot of people, you could have plugged it in and just quit the game. I mean, this could have been, these could be empty clone bays just sitting there, right? Yeah, I had on the Microgate, just off the Microgate, I had an Astor House. And then underneath the Ministry of Internal Order, like I'd mentioned, you know, a role-playing Warhammer 40k using the Ministry instead of Theology. Had one underneath there, just like I do for the 2 Ministry of Order stations in Shuria. Those 2 were blown up by Domain Research and Mining. Oh yeah, I didn't stand a chance. I ganked 1 or 2 of them, like that Nestor. That was an awesome one, but that was just basically down to, admittedly, luck and, you know, luck in battle. There was a few decent lines. I wish Antonio Banderas hadn't done 13th Warrior. Yeah, but yeah, I love that movie. Some of the quotes, yeah. Luck in battle. Yeah, sometimes if your courage holds, luck will turn, or something like that. Luck in battle will help if your courage holds long enough. It was a good quote. Yeah, love some of the lines in there. It was really good writing in that movie. Antonio Banderas couldn't act his way out of a wet paper bag. Seriously. Oh well, neither could Snake Plissken. One expression. His entire acting life, one expression. Yeah. So I know Herrera had 60, and I know Katana in Mammatkar had 60. I'm going to be really surprised it's the same amount. Oops. Oh my god. I can't talk and do something at the same time. So yeah, planted no new Astor houses. I've unanchored none of them. Because, you know, they're... nobody's blown them up yet. Why would I unanchor them? I'm trying to deal with the stress of, hey, warning people I'm going to unanchor it. I'd probably do that for a few months, going, hey guys, in 3 months I'm going to unanchor this, rename my stuff, get your stuff out. Why? It's a piece of cake to fuel them. See? Jesus. So nobody's bothered to, like, when as soon as, wow. Because people don't care. I, I'm I'm honored that they trust my ability to keep their implants safe. I'm pretty sure most of them are empty clones. But, never know. Maybe if, say, a tenth of those are expensive clones, right? That's 6 really expensive clones that are not me that I'm responsible for. That's to me, it's pretty big. I've offered my services, and I was like, the perimeter one, what is it, Stellite Free Explorers Upwell, that's been there forever since the beginning of Upwells, and it's got free jump clone implanting thing, and it's always been that way, and it's never been blown up. That's pretty cool. That's something to aspire to, right? Because when you see free, you're like, trap. Because that's what happened when in the initial stages I came back to the game in 2018. I was like, cool, and I plugged in an expensive clone to something, and it suddenly went offline the next day, and I'm like, oh, shit. I'm dependent on the whims of players who can very possibly be trolls, right? What's that? Oh, God. So that was an expensive lesson. But yeah, that's then, of course, as soon as that happened, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this and need to swap clones, which I wanted to do a lot, like, I hardly swap clones anymore. Like, I'm in my fob bashing clone implants, and unless for war, sorry, this is another character, water, sorry, but yeah, unless for war, I'm not swapping out. So I have zero use for my Upwells, except during war, which is hilarious because that's the opposite of what I was doing beforehand when the NPC stations you couldn't swap out. So it's a lot of things have changed. I'm not doing PI anymore. I'm not making my own field box anymore. I'm bashing fobs on a regular basis. Well, except, of course, I could probably start doing it in a few hours. I'll have a day off. Yeah, the one benefit to switching a lot of jobs is that you're able to throw off your enemies because they don't know when you're going to be online or offline. Yay. I have a wonderful life. Yeah. Alright, let's check out my final one today. And I used to try to keep the fueling of all my Upwells to have the same expiry. But now I'm like, man, whatever, I'll get the notification, I'll go fuel it. Because, yay, notifications, right? You get 24 hours. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. Just ignore them until I get notifications, and I don't care. Whatever, I'll just refuel a whole bunch of shit. Yeah. Yeah. Not caring anymore. Yeah, because it's fun to, like, make it all managed and try out and see, for experimental purposes, but I've done all the testing I need to do. Now it's just like, man, whatever. It's cheap, it's easy, it's a piece of cake. Yeah, if you're thinking of having an Upwell, I would highly recommend fitting it this way. Not getting fancy. Fit it this way. And you'll be higher than the lowest hanging fruit. Right? And there's no need to plant like there's why an Atheron and a HiSec? They suck for revenue. Why Retaru? They suck for anything you want to do. It's easier to just go to low sec and you're secure there. Do it smart and get your BPCs there, and you're always going to be guaranteed that it's usually going to be less expensive than HiSec. And system index for research, and you have no control of the system index where you are, right? I mean, you could do it in a system with no upwells, but what if somebody else plunks an upwell down there? What are you going to do, right? So, yeah. And if you're one man corp, are you going to go to war with somebody? No. Hello, sec. That's where I keep all my BPCs. They're safe forever. Anyways. Yeah. Oops. And Mankar 60 last time. I'm assuming the same as Herrera. Wow, 72. Wow. Cray. And every once in a while, if I'm too late on refueling my upwells and I come back and I've gotten more than 24 hours warnings on this stuff and they're offline, I've got a mailing list if I need to apologize or warn people that I'm not going to fuel it for a bit or whatever. People get locked out for a few hours. Oh, tragedy, As long as they're not destroyed, as long as they know I'm going to online it pretty soon, I'm sure they're fine. Wow, 72. Crazy, huh? It's like, why the hell you people aren't in that? It's like, they're raging at them. Get your freaking vulnerable jump clones out of my freaking station. But, I mean, it does, if they're swapping a lot, which apparently you saw my wallet. They're it's not like they're a whole bunch of people are using a whole bunch of jump cloning. Why are you in my freaking stations? Get out. But I suspect it's probably people doing like invasion Triglavian stuff, maybe, or I'm assuming mostly empty clones. What do I plan on doing? Jeez. Well, I'm not interested in plunking down a new upwell. So that's off the table. I'm getting into the camera angles. I've switched it up, so that's new. Between, I used to have the tactical array for tactical only and not for orbital. But I've just found that it's more tactical this way, and this is more aesthetic. Yeah. Yo, CCP. So, yeah. That's my immediate focus, short term. I'd like to get back to investigating the mission hubs nearby for noobs and others. I was making good headway on that, but unfortunately, Riot started messing around locally, so that got me distracted from that. But that's my goal, to go where are some really cool mission areas, mission stations that look really cool aesthetically and have some cool agents, hopefully more than one, and a nearby storyline agent, so you're not humping all over the place for storylines, and be fun. So I want to get back to doing that. Um, but the 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 impetus to mine is zero. Like I've got all the motivation in the world to mine because I love mining, but there's no reason to. There's no joy in it. They've nerfed it to the point, like they made workcore stabs active, and it only gave +2, but they've got Tech 2, so why didn't you make the Tech 2 +3? Because, they have faction scrams out there for -3. What are you doing? So that removed the joy, and of course, their 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 attitude towards the porpoise is so abysmal that it's nerfed the porpoise too. So I've got my ice miners nerfed. I've got the porpoise nerfed. Um, there's no incentive to waste my time and money because I'm making less ISK going to low-sec to mine ore in low-sec because it might be fun to sneak in there, but it feels unfair now. It feels that CCP has hobbled my ability to enjoy low-sec and minimize as much as possible the massive risk compared to the walk in a park, print ISK all day ice fields. Seriously. I mean, I was mining before FOBs. I was mining ice because before the little cockroaches came about and like slurped it all up immediately, you could make about 500 million ISK after about 4 or 5 hours. Even longer if you got lucky. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So yeah, no more mining. I'm not even thinking of doing mining because I know CCP has no interest anymore in fixing mining until they can nerf us again with compression loss or something. We don't care anymore. Something. It's like, haha, we had quadrants and we had this grand vision, but we got bored of it. And it's like, oh, okay. And then you read their old stuff and you realize they really were promising conflict. They were going to drive conflict by apples plus oranges. And it's like, it's laughable now. But at the time, we were like, they finally have a long-term plan. And then, no, they didn't. It was just bullshit marketing lies. They've always been patch to patch. Oh, the next patch is going to be great. Random nerf, random change. Okay. But that's CCP. And the fact I was fooled by that for a couple of years, bad me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I'm not fooled again. Not gonna get fooled by that again. They're like, oh, we're just gonna go back to the major expansions. It's like, what major expansions? You just lie constantly. It's just the next patch. What do you mean major expansions? You're just going back to what you did yesterday. The next patch. That's it. That's totally it. And we promised we're going to hint about new ships. Like, they're going to be faction ships? Are you kidding me? Why did you keep that secret? It's so stupid. Yeah, we want to subvert expectations by doing the exact opposite of what you would expect a normal, breathing, functioning human being to admit to right at the start. Yeah, I haven't changed my music tracks. Being the same for a long time. Yeah, I might get one more character to, pay $71 and get it extended. I might be tempted before the MCT runs out deal, but it's gonna come up in 2 months anyways. around bouts, so I could wait and do it. This would be the one character I would think of getting another pack for and paying $70. 3 months, get it up to snuff. Got a bunch of skills I really want to, you know, get up there. Yeah, I'll definitely do it for the Steam character. This is my Steam account. And I'm not sure if the deal is available. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I'll check it out after I end the video. Anyways, yeah. So half of my characters on 2 skill queues. That's of course costing me, finally after a year, cash putting into the game. Lol. Not really interested in skins anymore. They've got a new firework. It's really bad. It's so faded blue. It's like, I can barely see that. How are we going to combine it with others? It's like, oh, it allowed subtlety. With what kind of subtlety is that? You know? Let's add a new firework to the game and not take advantage of new colors. Like, could you add a new bright color? So we can have, when we combine fireworks, we can have different colors and not the usual red, white, pale blue. I call it pale bleh. Pale bleh. Crown and Sword skins probably suck for low res. And for high res, it's like shiny. So it's kind of brown. So frickin' get the exoplanets. Yeah, Imperial Jubilee. Purplish. Kind of cool. But yeah, only one of my characters is dedicated to purple and black. Purple and yellow. I think it's purple and black. Yeah, and that's my hauler, so no need to. And where did they have their... Yeah, this is kind of cool. Did you see this? 40% Omega. Pretty neat. Unfortunately, my billing cycle... The billing cycle, like, this is a Mar, and it'll last till the 2nd of October, and I think my billing cycle, my skill farming is coming due around then. But I think it'll just probably... Ooh, it would be nice if I could skill farm and get the 1 month mega extension using that, but I don't think I'll be able to do it prior to that. I might try to squeak it in and see if I can, like, shave off some unnecessary skill points from that character in other skills. It might be possible. Like, here's what I'm talking about. Oh, wait. Lol. Anyways, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'll probably make a video on that too. That'll be an interesting video. Okay. I'm thinking of buying a bowhead. Another bowhead. I've got one. I'd like to buy another. So this character, might as well show you the idea. Yeah, this character's got a bowhead, and I'm thinking of getting another one so I can stock one with the ECM boats and the other one with catalysts, gank catalysts. Yeah, I mean, they're only worth, like, bowheads are only worth 2 billion. No, 3 billion. Okay, 3 billion. Yeah, 3 billion. and I'm printing ISK. That's a day and a half of hardcore fob hunting, and that's a bowhead. Pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, this character's got a lot of skill points, but the other ones have like 6 million maybe. And I don't know how I'll do it. I'm not even sure if it's possible. But it's going to be a near run thing to squeak in under and get the... it would cost me 3 times 6, so 1,800 Plex to fund my 6 accounts instead of 3,000. That would... Did I do that right? 3 times 6... Yeah, 18. Yeah. 1,800. So it would be well worth... God, maybe even... I could probably... I wonder if I could do it now. I could pause a training and do maybe, say, 3 extractors. But I'll just wait till the last day of the sale and then do it that way. And I don't want to... Yeah. I'll probably do 3 extractors and see if I can get away with it. Yeah, anyways, we'll get to that point. It's a bit too complicated right now. I'd rather get to the point and decide then. Because otherwise, yeah, my ability to think a few moves ahead in chess is like 0. Yeah, I sucked in chess tournaments. Alright. I would win a couple, but once the tiers had moved up a bit, then the other player would immediately know I was just moving chess pieces at random. Yeah. Alright, goals, geez, long term. Waiting till Shoot First gets back. They probably won't. They did return. They did return in 2016. Every 8 years they'll come back to the game. So, yeah, the rate this game's going, like it predicted, it's probably gonna die in 8 years. Like they'll shut off the servers in 8 years. That's what I'm assuming. Yeah, give it 8 years, they'll shut down the servers. Yep. Let's see, wars, we dealt with wars, dealt with assets. Did I go through the assets completely? Yeah, so this is my ECM station, and Hospitaller is where I've got my other ECM stuff, but I don't really need to do that. It's just, hey, it's used for during war, might as well. It's fun to have my implant sets in an upwell, so I don't think I'll ever move that out. So that's kind of fun. And then Shuria 4 has all my passive armor tank and energy emission stuff. So I've got 2 skill clones, the energy emission talismans and the passive plated tank stuff. Passive tank for armor. And of course passive tank for shield is in Aurora. 10 is my weird fits for like low sec stuff, 200 kilometer Cerberuses, and my stealth bombers. Halo implant sets there, and the weird implant sets. And then this one is active armor tank. Like I said, active shield tank. Yeah, I've actually got a Marauder. Yeah, it's kind of fun. But I've never actually put it in harm's way. Probably just like the Oracle. Never will. I've got Redeemers, um, and other Blops vehicles, but as like I said, I've never put them in harm's way. I just, just sometimes it's nice to have the option, but at the same time, I don't know the proper fit. I'd like to get there eventually. I like to blop stuff. That would be fun, and use my carriers in combat. That would be fun. More than what I have in the past, because didn't even know what buttons to press when I was in combat. um, yeah, it's very simple. Yeah, passive armor tank, passive shield tank in Aurora, eccentric stuff, ECM, active armor tank, active shield tank. It's mining, passive and probing vehicles, and then I don't even have anything in Mamenkanar for jump clones and ships dedicated. It's like, too far away. Keep them close. Now that I can swap in NPC stations, this is awesome. The Stagecoach Doctrine, really, really fun. I've got some specialized ships. Even thinking of logistics frigates. That'll be fun. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. And just basically working on bettering my fits. Looking at old fits I haven't used for a while, going, is this viable? Can I improve it? Stuff like that. A really relaxed, laid back game style. Yep, like, Jesus. I'm an old player, and like, just contacts. It's like excellent standing. Like, all these players, like they're long gone, like at least 10 years. So like some of these have never been in the game since the new character creation was created, right? Wow. um, oh, right. God. This is hilarious. Somebody gave me some tasty blueprints. Yeah, Tech 2 blueprints. And I haven't used them yet. I don't even think I've moved them yet from where they were. You know what? I don't think I have. I think they were an ammo blueprint or something. Yeah. Yeah, it's somewhere. Yeah, I'd like to get him to Nazil and start looking into building stuff. That would be fun. Like Tech 2 stuff. I'm sure I'll get bored of it quick. But hey, I've got the option. So that's one of my interests for the future. Um, and long term, I'd like to get one of my alts into as many corporations as possible to see how they have their corporation hangars named, give me an idea of what kind of concepts people are using for their organization uh, of equipment and gear. It would be interesting. I've always wanted to do that. It's still on the back burner. Not going to get to it anytime soon. I'm just, yeah, happy with what I have now. Can't think of anything else. I think I've covered everything. Um, um, yeah, there's a bunch of things I'd like to experiment with, like blitzing missions, and especially burner missions, going for the burner missions a lot, see if that's worth it. But the thing is, the problem I face is that I would have to make 240 million is per hour doing that to justify doing that over doing pirate strongholds. Now, the burner missions are always going to be the same. Once you get used to them, they're always going to be the same, exactly the same. FOBs, each one is different because of RNG, so you've always got the chance, never certain when shit's going to hit the fan. And that's interesting, because no matter how good my setup is now, if I get 2 Balgorns, close range response fleet Balgorns, that get spawned by the hauler, and I have a heavy Omen DPS defense fleet shooting at me with augurs protecting them with Logi, those close-in Balgorns hit your capacitor so hard that if you're not paying attention, if you're like, this is fine, cakewalk, and you walk away from your computer, if you leave it too long, they will drain your cap and your spider tank will die and you will die. And so yeah, there's always that risk, and to have that risk in high sec keeps it interesting. And so I doubt there's anything until they nerf the income. Then they have to. It's just too ridiculous. I have to pinch myself every day I do it, because it's so surreal, the income I'm getting from this. It just, and watching people do it who are using 18 plus alts, and you're like, because they're doing that, you're like, okay, so it's not when you get rewarded, it's not you're going to get 240 million ISK divided by your alts. No, if you go in with one player, you're going to get 30 million reward, and it's going to take you an hour, but the loot's okay. I mean, it's a one-person job. The loot is probably more lucrative. It's probably as lucrative. It probably doubles your income. So 60 million an hour, which is not great, and you plus have to find but yeah, it's all these factors come into play, and you're like, well, if I go with 8 characters and I get 29 million, if I go with 18 characters, at what point is too many, right? At what point do you get where you add one more character and you're making less in total than you were with, what I'm saying? Or the same, right? You're just being redundant. But seeing people do 18 plus characters on grid, they must be getting like 360 million ISK per fob at the minimum. So that's crazy. Like, I get 250,000. They get a third of a million. That's like, sorry. Oh my God, a third of a billion, sorry. 1 million. So yeah. Yeah. There's no better thing to do when you're running multiple clients than HiSec FOBs. Is hands down. So yeah. And I've got a lot of gear from my ECM stuff. One of my goals is to, like, Rain. She is at that station. No, she's not. But she's got all those ECM ships at that 1116. Or not 11. The Ministry. Yeah, what is it? 416 or 1116? Whatever. So, yeah, 1116. All the ships that I need to upgrade are in her hangar bay, just needing to upgrade to better versions of it, and that's going to be a grind in itself. And of course, once I upgrade them all, I'm sure I'll find a new version. I doubt it. I think this is my final version. Mark 12 for the Stagecoach. Wow, what a trip. But yeah. But she's got a lot of stuff to come through. Okay, it's 1016, my bad. So the Blackbirds I was talking about, Mark 7, Mark 8, take a relook at those. And then for these ones, these are all pretty much unupgraded stuff I need to update. And yeah, that's a massive grind. It'll take me a while. But well worth it. It'll feel good. I'll be like, hey, I got a whole bunch of ships now, and that'll be awesome. So load that up in the bowhead. And get my and train. Sacrifice some skill queue to train up my tertiary characters so they're better at ganking, because they're supposed to be my gank alts and or thief alts. That's pretty much it. Let's check out the other characters just in case I'm forgetting anything. No, Major Freak's well on the way to being specialized in Kaldari, Heretics in Min Matter, Minor Freak in Amar, Rain in Galente. This is my dedicated hauler trader client. Multiple alts doing the same thing. Yeah, it's fun, and I'm really, really happy with Erroneous to help me out with doing the graphics for my alliance, and it happened really quick too. Yeah, I submitted it, and within 3 days it was in game. It was amazing. But yeah, it's transparency, and it's got a fob with the Ghostbusters kind of thing. Who are you gonna call? So that was fun in itself. So it's fun that I've got Upwells with my image on it. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, 2 more bowheads. That would be great. I'm definitely gonna buy another one almost immediately and have fun with that. And purchase field blocks. No longer doing PI. It's just a waste of my time. It's such a grind and a pain. Yeah, that's what I'm sure as soon as I finish this video, I'll be like, I forgot to tell you this. But yeah, that's about it. Oh, and I have been invited to make a video for EVE Online, but yeah, it's surprising I haven't joined EVE Online. EVE University. Oh my God. Yeah, EVE, Ivy League. I'm just a loner at heart. You know, I like being self-sufficient, and joining a large entity like that, I like to commit to things. So I might get swept away in that. Yeah, I mean, if I was going to join any entity, I'd definitely join Eve University. But yeah, I definitely, before I made any video, I definitely watch a bunch of their videos and just jump into their, like, pretend to be a newbie and go through their pacing and their skill plans and their ideas. And that'll help improve my game, right? And my ability to make videos as well. Or at least tutorial videos. Videos. Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm going. Pretty happy right now. Every once in a while, I'll go out and scout for fobs and bash a whole bunch, and that's pretty much all I do. And spring cleaning for my assets and redoing fits and trying to grind through the upgrading of old fits. And yeah, it's Eve. I sell it as a screensaver with a built-in chat function, and that's always ever been, and all that it will ever be. And no matter how many times CCP thinks that Photon UI and all their little hijinks will sex up spreadsheets and turn it into wonderful selling point, it's like, dude, it's spreadsheets in space. Like, leave it as it functionally is. Make it more functional. You know, we don't want, like, when we're playing Eve, we don't want to play spreadsheets in place. We want to, like, make the maximum possible area so we can watch what's going on and enjoy it aesthetically while still having functional stuff around the edges. It's, you frickin' play Wing Commander, you idiots. You know, back in the day. Christ. Yeah. But yeah, they're tone deaf. They don't read the room. They're a bunch of greedy idiots. And we all know that. Let's just move on from that and just play the game until it dies as best we can. And I'm sure you guys are doing it. It's just like, I've been listening to this while I was mining rocks and you were just sitting there making no ISK. Joke's on you. Yeah, normally is. I make less ISK by making these videos. Well, I make, even before I made these videos, I would just be sitting here pondering how to improve a fit while somebody else was just out there actually doing the heavy lifting of actually getting themselves ISK, and never got me any ISK doing this kind of stuff. But it's interesting just exploring the I like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. That's just me. Well, anyways, have a good one. Thanks for listening this long. God, it's probably 2 hours.